So, good morning, everybody. Let's just take a moment to tune into the space. So find a comfortable seat, spine clear and straight but relaxed. And just take a few long, deep breaths to settle your energy, whatever you've been doing this morning before you came to this space. Maybe you've just rolled out of bed to make it just in time, or maybe you've done yoga and cold showers and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. And Paula's at the end of her day. So whatever it is for you, just breathe it out and allow your energy to settle in the here and now. Inhaling life force, joy, calm, whatever it is you need. And exhaling tension, busyness, distractions. And just taking a moment to recognize the quality of your energy right now and direct your attention to your navel point, to your solar plexus. And allow them to move as you breathe, or even use them to move the breath. Whether the breath comes first or the activation comes first. Just allow there to be a relationship between your breath and the center point. And connecting with the color, the deep orange and yellow of the fire in your belly. Today being our midway journey through the tattvas, through the elements. Fire is where we come to today. And just see if you can notice any particular qualities at your navel point, at your solar plexus, whether they feel activated or dull. What is your relationship to your fire? Is it burning bright? Is it struggling? Is it intermittent, on and off? Or is it completely gone out? And are you aware of how to consciously tend to this fire? To activate your ambition, your desire, but also to cleanse and to purify that which is old, no longer needed. And take 3 long, deep breaths in and out. And when you're ready, in your own time, you can open your eyes once more. Okay. So, the element of fire. Does anyone have any thoughts on the element of fire, its purpose, their relationship with it? Anything that came up in the meditation before we start? Or questions? Okay. All right then. So fire, fire equates in terms of the doshas to, of course, Pitta dosha. Yeah, Pitta dosha. And that is strongly related to our digestion, yeah, our Agni. And Agni is, in Ayurveda, the most important thing to keep us healthy. Yeah, there are other healing systems which prioritize maybe the circulatory system or other things, but in Ayurveda, we are looking, the first thing an Ayurvedic doctor is looking at is your digestion, your digestive fire, your Agni, because it's also, your Agni is not just your digestion, it's your fire for life, your life force energy. Okay, so it really, when we're looking at Ayurveda, it really is the central point, and it impacts everything else. So in yoga, there is a concept called tapas. This is not Spanish tapas, okay? It is the Indian tapas, which is heat generated through friction. Okay, so it's another version of fire, but it's not Agni, it's different. It's one that we create through friction. So this corresponds to, let's say, the heat that you generate in your body when you exercise. Yeah. When you are focusing on something and you're really concentrated, this creates a heat, an energy of creation. Okay, so tapas is a really important part of our yoga practice and our spiritual path. And it is said that without tapas, there is no hope for enlightenment. Because it's in that friction, in that place of slight discomfort, of going through, of the discipline, that we burn through what is holding us back, we burn through what is keeping us blind, and we're able to see and move forwards. Okay, so tapas is an essential element of any path to awakening. Okay, it's your discipline. So however much you would like to be enlightened, it's highly unlikely it's going to happen by you just sitting on the sofa watching Netflix. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, it's going to take a clear vision and consistent application of moving towards that vision. And that is tapas. Okay? What I want to look at today, a little bit away from tapas, is, so tapas is the intentional friction that we create. What I want to look at is the lack of intention or the lack of awareness that holds us back. And in particular, another form of fire, anger. Okay? So anger is the fire energy, the fire emotion. And one of the qualities of fire, it has two primary, actually polar qualities. Yeah. So if you think of fire burning wood, yeah, it is destroying that wood, but it is also clearing the space. Yeah, the wood becomes ash, it almost disappears. So there's this dual purpose of fire. And we need to get really conscious about that, because if we're not conscious, if we're not using tapas, the intention, with our fire, we are going to burn ourselves. But if we are conscious in how we process anger, then it is a purification. Does that make sense? Yeah. So what I want us all to do this morning is, do you all have pen and paper? Yeah? Okay. So this morning, I want each of you individually to look into what anger is for you, your relationship with anger. And in particular, I want you to really try to connect into childhood anger. Because what tends to happen is we may have had experiences as children that made us angry because we were small and powerless, because we had adults telling us what to do and how to live. And as much as that may have been with their best intentions, and they're our parents and they know us extremely well, they're still not us. And so very, very often as children, we experience anger, but probably we didn't have a healthy way to process, express, or channel and purify that emotion. And on some level, then it stays stuck. So it can be, as a child, of course, it's also the really petty stuff. You didn't let me have a biscuit after dinner, you know. You can imagine a child having a temper tantrum about something small like that, yeah? But it can also be the bigger stuff. I mean, for instance, I was chatting with somebody the other day, and he was an extremely gifted athlete as a child, and had the potential to possibly become an Olympic swimmer, an Olympic sailor, anything to do with water. And as soon as he got to the age of 15, his parents banned him from all sports. They said, now you have to focus on school and academia. And it was literally a door closed at the age of 15 for him. So you can imagine that sport is also the way that we process our emotions a lot of the time. We let that anger, that heat out through movement. Yeah, you feel pent up or pissed off, go for a walk, go for a run. Guaranteed you will feel better. Do any of you know Tim Ferriss? Have you heard of him? He's famous for the 4-hour work week. And that was sort of his big projection into being quite famous. And he's gone a lot more into sort of personal development. And he's an amazing guy, actually. If you look him up, Tim Ferriss, and his podcasts, he's becoming a very inspirational teacher. And he's had major issues with addiction because he didn't process childhood anger. And he says that in the 12-step program, you have this mentor system. Yeah, so you will, whenever you come into a 12-step program, you have somebody who is your mentor. And he says, whenever somebody comes to him and says, Tim, I need to speak, I'm really struggling at the moment. He said, 100%, I am there for you. I will be there for you. But before we speak, I want you to go for a run or a walk. Because he knows that movement, that tapas, is going to help the person process a lot of the emotions and get clarity before they then come to him and are looking for him to solve their problems. Ultimately, we have to do it all ourselves. Yeah. And Tim actually came out with a massive disclosure recently, which he'd been trying to write about, but found he was re-traumatizing himself by revisiting the story. And then it kind of came out without him having planned it in a podcast. And he divulged that he was sexually abused as a child. So if there's an instant where somebody has anger, it's that kind of situation. Yeah. So, we can see it. Most of us have had a blessed childhood. Not everybody though. Okay. And so, but the anger is there. What the child experiences, it experiences at 100%. So it's not just to diminish and say, yes, I had that temper tantrum, but it doesn't matter. It's not important. To the child that had that temper tantrum, it was important. Yeah, it was experiencing rage and it was unable to express itself and process those emotions. And that's the important part. Yeah. I was thinking about myself the other day. I remember I don't know how old I was, maybe about 7. And we went for a walk with my parents and another family. And I can't even remember who the other family was. And we were walking along a canal and we had the locks on canals where so the narrow boats go up and down and they can pass through. And this lock was open. So there was this sort of platform quite high. Well, I say quite high for a 7-year-old Sarah. I was probably about 40 centimeters tall at that stage, but it seemed quite high to me. And we were climbing up it and asking our parents to catch us as we jumped off. And I was up there and I had this sudden block of fear and maybe not trusting my dad that he was going to catch me. And so he's like, just go, Sarah, just go. Of course I'll catch you. Of course I'll catch you. And I kept about to go and then stopping. And I couldn't quite get through that emotion of fear and letting go. And he started to get impatient. And I was starting to feel embarrassed because we had these family friends there as well. And it sort of became this real emotional mess. And in the end, my father lost patience. He said, like, one more try and then we're going. And then that's it. You don't try again. And we left and I didn't do it. And I still remember that anger at him for not giving me the space to keep trying, and anger at myself for having been so afraid because I knew I could do it. And then shame also that I felt weak and I felt pathetic and people were laughing at me about it. It was really horrible. And it came up the other day when I was walking in the mountains. But, there are these instances where as a child, we want to try something and for whatever reason, it doesn't work. And there's an anger, there's a memory that remains stuck, and there's an imprint. And these imprints determine to a greater or lesser extent as we go into adulthood how we motivate ourselves and how we are able to move through challenge, how we're able to work towards success, how we're able to work on discipline and keep going. Yeah, the tapas. Or whether we give up on ourselves. I'm not worth it. I couldn't do it then, so I can't do it now. Yeah. So what I want everybody to do is to take, we'll start with 5 minutes, and if we need more, we can extend a little bit, just to do some journaling. So to tap into some of those stories, the big and the small, and really try to connect with the emotion that you had as the child, the helplessness, the anger, the non-resolution, however the situation was, however it felt for you, shame, whatever else, and just tap into that. Okay? Does anyone have any questions before we start? No? All right. So off you go, just each of you writing for yourself 5 minutes. See what comes up. Who feels they need more time?
I need a little bit more time.
Francis needs a little bit more. Okay, so we'll take one more minute. If you finished, maybe see if there's another layer that you haven't discovered, that you could maybe dig a little bit deeper. And we tend to minimize the impact of our childhood unhappiness, but it was very real for us back then. All right. So talking about fire, who is having their hot water? Melting their armor. Yeah, awesome. Sophia and Paula, you're aware of the hot water? Yeah. Just keep sipping hot water through the day. The best thing for cleansing armor. All righty. So we're going to take that awareness, those feelings. I'm going to burn them. All right. So we're going to do a practice. And through this practice, I want you to connect with the feeling, the actual feeling back then. And we're going to use the breath and we're going to use the posture to burn it. Okay? So this is taking the original fire of anger, which is stuck, and then using fire to purify. Okay? This is extremely good for the liver. Yeah, liver is the organ that holds the anger. Liver is the organ of detoxification. Okay? So drink hot water, have a really light diet today. Try to maybe avoid fats to just give the liver a break. Yeah? Just have steamed vegetables and broth if you can for the rest of the day. And give your liver a break so that it can continue the process of detoxification throughout the rest of the day. All right. So you're going to bring your hands into this position, this mudra. So you lock down the little finger and the ring finger, and the first finger and the middle finger are out. You're going to hold your arms out parallel to the ground. Marco and Deanna. You can face each other on the bench. You can sit like that, face to face. There we go. Okay. Now, this posture is going to create some heat, okay, in your shoulders. And it's also expanding and opening the heart, which is important because the heart closes down when we have negative emotions. So really focus on holding the posture like this and allowing the resistance, the anger, this is also the tapas, to come up. Yeah. Resist the temptation to drop your arms. You're going to hold them there the whole time, all right? Paula's laughing. She's done teacher training with me. So, your inhale is through your teeth. Oh, sorry, that frightened the cats. Yeah, so your inhale is through the teeth and you exhale through the nose. And really get your diaphragm moving so that it's putting pressure on your liver. Yeah, this is not an upper chest breath. This is going to go all the way down to the pelvic floor so that you are pressurizing and stretching the liver to get it moving. All right? Any questions? If you ask how long, I'm not going to tell you. So good you didn't ask. Okay. So your eyes are closed, arms out. Get yourself ready, focus, commit, connect with that tapas, that discipline. I know that I have to go through the discomfort in order to burn what needs to be purified. I need to do this. It's not going to happen by sitting on the sofa. Deanna, if your head and your neck are really tense, just do what you can, okay? All right. So begin when you're ready. Move the navel point, move the solar plexus. Inhale through your teeth and really open the mouth wide, open the lips wide so you suck the air across the teeth. Exhale through the nose. Keep going, keep going. Keep the arms up parallel to the floor. Welcome the heat, welcome the discomfort. This is the burning, this is the purification. Arms out, arms straight. You can do this. Hold it. Breathe. Bring the prana into your shoulders. Just hold them up. Keep going. Good. Come on. Arms up. Come on, come on, come on. Smile or grimace, but just do it. Arms up, last 10 seconds. Go through now, really perfect the posture. Stretch the heart open. 5, 4, 3, 2. Inhale, hold it. Squeeze mulban, so tighten your anus, your sex organs, your navel. Squeeze the root lock, the base of your spine. Pull the solar plexus in. Keep the arms there. Keep them parallel. Keep them stretched back. Open your heart. Keep the posture. Exhale. Inhale. Again, squeeze Mula Bandha. Tighten the solar plexus. Stretch your heart center open. Exhale. And one more time. Deep, 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 deep inhale. A little bit more. Hold. Squeeze. Stretch the fingers out as far as they'll go. Stretch the arms back as far as they'll go. See the purification. Exhale and release. Relax. Just sit quietly. Breathe and observe. Okay. And I just want you to go back to your journaling and write down anything that arose through the meditation, through the practice. So it can be related to the anger, the emotions, the original emotions. It can also be related to your relationship to tapas and discipline and going through. It can be to around awareness of how these original blocked emotions are still impacting you. Still holding you back. Or still motivating you in a way that is sabotaging or damaging. And the way that it may show up in your life today could be an inability to self-care, an inability to really connect and love yourself. Maybe an inability to set clear boundaries with others. A need to push and force and prove yourself. Or a need to isolate and hide yourself.
A tendency to not engage or hold yourself back from new projects, creative endeavors for fear of failure, perfectionism, overwhelm. Fear of confrontation, fear of clear communication, or being overly confrontational. Disconnect from your own compassion. Pretty much whatever is showing up in your life as an adult can be traced back to a childhood anger. If you can dig deep enough, have the courage, can develop your subtle awareness. I'm going to give you 1 more minute on this. For those of you who are still writing, thinking, those of you who've stopped, maybe see if you can dig a bit deeper. Maybe we have a tendency to blame others for our discomfort, and we're not taking responsibility. Maybe we play the victim role. Okay. So does anyone want to share on that last part, the connections that they are starting to see, become aware of, or have been aware of already between the fire of childhood anger and the stuff that may not be working quite so well in our lives now as adults? And I know that this might be a little bit difficult when we first start to see this stuff. But remember the guidelines. Lean into this, you know what I'm trying to say? Lean into the discomfort.
and reach into the group. Yeah, and we learn from each other. Paula.
I couldn't help laughing when you were saying about if we blame others for our discomfort. Because I don't know if you remember, like any exercises with our hands up, I hate them with all my might. I really, it was like, I would have not gone through the teacher training just because of that. And I'm generally don't have a lot of feelings of anger, but when you make me do these exercises, it all comes up and it's all directed towards you. I 100% always blamed you for my discomfort and myself for like, why the fuck am I here? What am I doing with my life? So when you said we had to do that exercise, like, oh Lord, not again. And it really wasn't that bad. It's the first time I've ever done one of the Kriyas that you have to have your arms up, and I didn't hate it, and I felt that I could go through it. And I still have a lot of like anger coming up. Like I have a lot of swearing in my journaling afterwards. But yeah, I don't know how long I was practicing with you for quite a while, and I always just got this rage coming up, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And now what I felt instead, I felt like a lot of fire, and I felt just open. So I do feel that things are changing because I don't feel so much rage. I just feel like my heart is a little bit open. And before, I always used to think that everyone else can do these things, and I'm the only one that can't because I'm useless, and that's really all the journaling that we did from our childhood. That's what I remember, that I can't do things that everyone else can because I'm worthless. But right now I was feeling like I can do this. So that was what came up for me, which is surprisingly good. Awesome. It's the first time I've enjoyed one of these.
Okay, so what can you do with this now?
I was just writing about how I always think I can't do difficult things because I'm worse than everyone else or more stupid or more, but I can do. So then I'm trying a lot of new things this year, and this month as well, I've set myself quite a few physical challenges, and I'm sticking with them. So then I just feel I need to keep on doing things that I think I can't do.
Yeah. And maybe Kaizen this meditation into a daily practice and see where it takes you. Yeah, look at that face.
I have
You don't have to do anything because it's not me that's going to get the games. It's you.
Right.
Yeah. This is again the victim and the blame mindset of you're making me do this and I don't want to. No one's making you do it, Paula. It's like, what do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve? And how are you going to get there? The tapas, the discipline, the fire. Yeah, this is what you need to burn the kapha, to burn the armor, to burn the anger. It's like you're the one that has to take those steps now. And what you say is, mate, yes, your heart's opened. There's less of a blockage, less resistance there. That's massive already. So, recognize, celebrate the small wins. I would say that's a pretty big one. And let that motivate you. And taking that concept of the fire, fire is our motivation, our desire, our ambition. Yeah. So when we see, okay, well, I used to be like this, and seeing how that is still holding us back as an adult. Yeah. That's anger. That's already there. It's like, fuck, I'm still doing this. I'm still stuck. Yeah. Don't let that anger burn you and say, well, then I'm useless and there's no point. Yeah. That's the fire that burns. Let that be the fire that motivates. I don't want to keep having this cycle. I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to keep feeling this. I am going to motivate myself to change, to do things differently, to get myself into another pattern. That's then the fire as well. Yeah. But great. You did really, really well. Really well.
I feel like it's been a few years in the making.
You can hate me. It's fine. Well done. So I would, start with maybe 1 minute a day of this Kriya. Just do 1 minute a day for a week. See how you go. Yeah?
How long was it?
Huh?
How long was it?
We did 3.
Oh,
Did it feel longer?
no.
No. Yeah, we did.
I was surprised that I could hold my arms.
Yeah, we did 3 minutes. So Kaizen 1 minute a day for the first week and see how you go.
Okay.
Notice the changes. Good, thank you. Tessa, were you going to share something? Sorry, I remuted you again.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it was difficult to tap into the anger and to actually, how do you say, connect to a moment or a specific event. I couldn't come up with anything right away. I did have a general feeling that I wrote down, but it gave me more sadness than anger.
Okay.
Yeah, it was more a feeling of not belonging and not being allowed to be there. Does that make sense? But yeah, that I've always felt like I wasn't in the right place, or I never felt good enough or accepted by my surroundings, including my mother. So yeah, I've got this feeling of rejection all the time, and a yearning to belong.
Okay.
And I've written that down, but it does I can connect it to some things, because I think that's why I've become like a people pleaser, and I have a hard time to set boundaries, and I feel overwhelmed. I mean, it's like, I think boundaries is one of my biggest issues, and a lot of, like, we have like the keystone practices. I think setting boundaries is one of my keystone bad habits, or habits I don't have. So I feel often overwhelmed, and yeah, the things you said, like fear of creative endeavors, fear of confrontation or clear communication. I've not always been like that, but I think also setting the boundary, not being able to set boundaries, has led me through a road of chronic stress, and I think the rest is kind of a how do you say it, action reaction, kind of a consequence of. And it's like I feel like I'm on a crossroad now, and I can start breaking that negative spiral.
Yeah, so this awareness, everything that you're talking about here, again, it's like whether it's a sadness or a sense of loneliness or not belonging or whatever, that negative emotion, again, you can swallow it down and bury it, or you can process it. You can use this meditation to process it and connect with the heat of a discipline and a commitment to change. So it's really allowing yourself to feel how uncomfortable you are at this point in your life, what is really not working and what is no longer okay. What am I no longer prepared to put up with? From myself, first and foremost. What beliefs, what behavior am I no longer prepared to keep perpetuating? And what am I no longer prepared to put up with from the people around me? And how can you use that clarity and that pain to create the heat, to take action? And that action might be contacting a therapist and having somebody that you talk to once a week to really start to explore some of these deeper issues, the sadness, belonging. the lack of being able to set clear boundaries. That is action, and that comes from tapas. I'm going to take action. So it might be a meditation, it might be a spiritual practice, it might be therapy, it might be exercise, it might be throwing out the crap in your kitchen cupboards. Yeah. All of
I've
that.
been throwing a lot of crap out last week, and I felt really overwhelmed, but I'm starting to see the results bit by bit. So I feel like there's like the physical space reflects in my mind.
Yes, the space tattva.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's like, what action do you need to take? What is coming clear to you today that you need to do to shift some of this stuff? Yeah, because it's got a heavy energy. This is kapha. This is armor. Yeah, this is energetic armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the undigested emotions. And in order to shift kapha, in order to activate kapha and to shift armor, we need pitta, we need agni, we need tapas, we need fire. Okay? So, maybe you take yourself for a nice long walk with your dogs, and maybe even, 100 steps walking, 100 steps running. Get some fire going. Yeah, and feel the discomfort of it, but let that start to shift the energy for you a little bit more.
I had a really nice practice of apnea yesterday evening, and it had been a long time, and I did some lungs empty apneas because we're limited to just one length. And by the end, I was like, oh my God, this feels discomfortable. And I heard you saying, lean into the discomfort, Tessa.
Yeah.
That's nice. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you for sharing, Tessa. That's great. Good luck.
Thanks.
Does anyone else want to share?
I can share.
Yeah.
I had it was a little bit hard to think about the exercise, but I do feel that I have something really going on in relation to fire and burning, and I feel like I have a tendency to kind of like go for everything and use like get burned up, like instead of burning to clear space in like a healthy way, I like burn too much. And I feel like that happened a bit now the last couple of weeks. And I need to kind of get I have like an energetic hangover. And I'm really, really tired. And I don't really know how to kind of move out of that in a way.
Okay. So what's the first action you need to take if you're tired?
Rest? I don't know.
Yeah. And then going deeper, it's recognizing, where does this urge to do everything all at once come from? I think it's interesting. You and I are so similar, and we both have ulcerative colitis. I don't think it's a coincidence. Yeah. So UC is also a fire. It's chronic inflammation. Yeah. Inflammation, flame. It's there in the word, That's the fire in the system. So that is chronic emotional armor, which has become physical armor. Yeah. And also, if our my diet wasn't great in my teens and 20s, and I don't think yours was either. I'm not so clear on your diet, but look at that, where that fire is, and that tendency to overdo things. Like, what is the emotional source of that? What is the emotional trigger that needs to be healed? Your doggies. That needs to be healed, so that pattern gets purified. That tendency gets purified. So what do you think might lie behind that?
Well, I kind of knew what I was doing, because like primarily I really need to rest. So I thought that, okay, I'm gonna like structure so I get 2 months rest, and then I have the new job that's waiting for me. And then I wrote the essay too, so I can do the specialist exam next year. But maybe that's a very bad idea to do it next year. Maybe I should give myself another year.
Okay. Yeah, you're starting a new job.
And now I'm starting to think that, oops, maybe it's a really bad idea to start a new job as a vet. Maybe I should have done like, you know, a pottery course for a year or something instead. I don't know. But on the other hand, I'm still just waiting to be able to rest, you know. I have 3 months to work, and then I'll have 2 months off. And that's just like designated to rest and self-care and all that.
How are you going to make sure that those 2 months really are for rest and self-care? Do you have a plan? A vision?
Well, I have some ideas about like starting to work out and with the yoga and having that that as a first focus. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think it's harder to get myself there.
In the time lapse.
Yeah, like I have to work 3 months before I get the rest.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So for the next 3 months then, if that's the priority, seeing what you see, seeing that where I want to be and where I am, what is your action, the tapas that you need to create in order to deliver that for yourself?
I think it's the evening routine that I so easily get into staying up late and eating junk in the evening. And I have been using food like energizing, like you get energy, I don't know, from sugar, from food and stuff, but you can do that only so long because it's like in the end degenerative. It's not building up. It's not like you get, you know, real energy from rest and self-care. So this is like artificial, kind of just keeping me from one day to the next. So I think that what resonated with me too was what you said, like discipline and going through and applying that to self-care as well. And it just really kind of, maybe I'm going to hate myself for this next week, but I don't know. I should maybe talk to Francis and Elmer about accountability to really go to bed early and to like eat light in the evenings.
Why is it not happening?
Because I get so tired and when I come home, and then I just lose all the commitment to myself and to what I know is best, and like whatever feels instinctive or easy, I go for.
So at the moment you're on a cycle, you come home from work, you feel drained, and you go for comfort food.
Yes.
Are you cooking comfort food, or are you buying it on the way home, or how is that looking?
Both.
Okay. You got your one pot machine.
Yeah.
Are you using it?
No.
Okay. That is such a simple way to have healthy, easy food. Yeah. You can, does it have a timer?
Yes.
Okay, so you could prepare the vegetables the night before and have it for two days worth of food. Timer so it's ready when you come home. Maybe take a break between coming in the door and eating. Just do 2 minutes of Nadi Shodhana. balancing breath, balance your energy, yeah? In through the left, hold, out through the right, in through the right, hold, out through the left. Just break that habit. Yeah, trigger, habit, reward.
Mm.
So at the moment, the trigger is I'm tired. The habit is I eat junk food. The reward is maybe I feel I've got a little bit more energy, but then there's the energy hangover. So it's not a reward long term.
Mm.
So the trigger is I come home from work, I breathe for 2 minutes.
Mm.
Yeah. I know that the hot pot's there, so I don't have this anxiety about, oh, my energy is crashing, I need to eat. I know that after my 2 minutes breathing, I'm going to be able to have a nourishing soup.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then just allow yourself to eat. I mean, you can have quite a big portion. It's,
Mm.
you know, if it's just a vegetable soup, it's easy to digest.
Mm.
And you can put lentils in it to have a little bit more protein, or even some rice or something like that. So you're getting more of a full protein at the end of the day rather than just the vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So that then you're not, you know, around about 8 or 9 o'clock going, oh, but now I want to have some chocolate or some whatever. Yeah.
Mm.
Have chocolate after the soup, you know. I'm going through a phase at the moment. I keep a bar of dark chocolate in the fridge. I even had some after breakfast this morning. I probably shouldn't be saying that, but it's kind of like, so today I know I'm having a big breakfast because I'm doing the session today, and then I'm going on to have a yoga Thai massage, and I'm not going to be, you know, in the space to eat till about 3 or 4.
Mm.
So my breakfast is a brunch, which means I can have dessert.
Okay.
Okay, but you've got to find way, you know, if there is still a very strong emotional trigger around food, and there is for you, you have to work with it rather than against it in some way. Yeah.
Mm.
So if it's to have a square of dark chocolate after your soup and have a nice, you know, make yourself maybe some, have you ever done golden milk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have a golden milk as well. So nice to curl up on the sofa, you know, have some quiet time.
Mm. Yeah.
And feel that you're nourished. Yeah, it's changing the relationship with food from I deserve the quick wins of sugar to no, that's poison. Really start to see what the quality of what it is that you're putting in your body. That's poison. Is that serving me? Absolutely not. It's the opposite. What's going to serve me? Whole foods, nourishing foods. Yeah. You can do this. You
Yeah.
can do this.
I think like I did really well with the breakfast and the lunches.
Mm.
And I do feel such a difference, like in how I feel. But then I come home, I'm like so tired, and then it's just like out of the door.
Okay.
But if I start maybe architecting, like even from the day before with the soups,
Yeah.
that's possible.
Can David support you in this?
Yes.
So he's at home during the day, right? He works from home. Get him to make you a soup.
Mm.
Take that off your shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he's your partner and he's to support you, ask for support in the way that you need it. And if that's difficult, you need to look at why. Hmm? And what about the rest of your evening? Because you also want to get to bed earlier.
Mm-hmm. Well, I get home maybe 6:30.
Mm.
So usually after dinner, I have some time to do to I can go out like for a dog walk, or for like a walk in the woods, or yeah, I can get some activities.
Okay, and then?
Oh, would you ask what I am doing or what I think I should do?
Yeah, how can the rest of your evening look? Like if we're really sort of saying, you know, you need to get more sleep, you need to get more rest. Like how do we design your whole evening to help you get there?
I think one part is preparing for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's maybe half an hour something.
Okay.
But then I feel I have this maybe gap of an hour and a half that I need to fill with something, and then I just go to the sofa and Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And then I won't get out of there until it's really, really late. And yeah.
Okay. Do you read? Do you enjoy reading?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have books that I want to read as well. So that would be a natural go-to actually.
Reading is a much less stimulating activity. So maybe set yourself a challenge this week of the book rather than Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you come home, you do some pranayama, the soup is ready, and you've had a conversation with David about that. Maybe you have a shower, get out of your work clothes, put on your pajamas or a tracksuit, get your favorite book. Something soothing, I'm really focusing on books that are going to nourish me right now. So I've just started a lovely book which has been circulating in my awareness for a long time. It's called Braiding Sweetgrass. Has anyone heard of it? It's really about our relationship with nature and really recognizing that we're one, that's where we get our true deep nourishment. So this will be a very nice book for you to read at the moment. Braiding Sweetgrass. Yeah. So think about books that are going to nourish you on some way. That could also be humor. Could be, comedy, fiction. Probably not horror or depressing or anything like that. Yeah, something that's going to uplift you.
Mm-hmm.
And then just you will feel the tiredness much more when you're reading than when you're drawn into a screen.
Mm.
Allow yourself to go to bed. And so just set yourself a challenge to do this for 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That sounds very good.
And as you're right, accountability partners are really one of the best supports that you can have. Yeah, and Capucine recently has been working on her relationship with food, so you might also want to reach out to her as well as Francis and Alma.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, keep us posted, Lynn.
Okay, I will.
Yeah. Yeah, you deserve to rest. You deserve for that to be your action. Thank you. Does anybody else want to share? We have time for one more.
Maybe me?
You.
So for me, it wasn't really difficult to find situations with anger in my childhood. There were a huge amount of this because I think my Pitta constitution and the sensitivity. And after this this exercise, I really felt the heat and at the first moment of release, it all fell off, and it felt like like before crying. So and so this was a very intense and suddenly after this it was like I felt so strong and clear, and it popped up like I'm the one to change this, and it was so clear, yeah. And then I wrote down that in the future I want to set my boundaries much earlier, and maybe to seek for confrontations and clear solutions. So maybe not just I'm just I'm doing things as long as I can hold it. I'm set my boundaries much earlier, and not and when I can't no more. So and this was the first big thing, and the second one was to be much more patient with me, giving time to have to find answers and develop. So and there's a much of pressure and too much perfectionism there, and yeah, and so these two things appeared, and yeah.
So, I mean, the first thing that struck me from that is this sense of empowerment, the letting go of the victim. As soon as we do that, we recognize it's like it's two sides of one coin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to make the changes.
Mm-hmm.
I make the changes, and I'm the one that chooses. Yeah, so we are all empowered to take charge of our own lives. And that's a gift, but it's also a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could say it's a responsibility, but it's also a gift. Yeah. But we have to recognize that that is ours. We have that. And when we do, like happened to you, that moment, it's like, oh my God, okay. Everything lightens because we're not helpless. Yeah. The anger that we feel as a child is because we are helpless. Yeah. We don't have the authority. We don't have the, now we do. We have to let go of that victimhood of so-and-so made me do this. Yeah, Sarah makes me hold my arms up. No, I choose to hold my arms up because I know that after that process, I had more clarity, or I had a vision, I had an experience which I wouldn't have had if I'd have sat there with my arms down. I learned something, I received something changed. Yeah. And yeah, we talked about this, because of your stuttering and your lack of ability to communicate, frustration of not being understood, and then that frustration making you probably stutter even more, and feeling this huge disconnect and not feeling capable of expressing yourself. Mm-hmm. So you said there you want to identify where to set boundaries much sooner, rather than getting to the breaking point where it's too much. How's that going to look for you, physically, practically, in the real world?
Maybe first of all, I should do, and too much of this means maybe I have to search for confrontations, but yeah, it's difficult, and because now my family isn't around here, and it would be much more easier to train with them. So I have to go the next step with and someone and with the too many things that could go wrong in someone, and that doesn't know me that well. So I don't know where to try this. Maybe in my next job, but yeah, maybe it's too early. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting that I would practice on my family. I think maybe the family is the most challenging place, because that's where most of our triggers are. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anyone else in this group suddenly finds themselves acting as the worst version of their teenage self when they're back with their parents for too long. Yeah. So that's where we get triggered. It's probably best to practice boundaries in an environment where there are less triggers And maybe people don't realize that you're setting different boundaries. So there's no like you say in your work, maybe new friendships, that you practice saying no way earlier. Or maybe even when it doesn't feel like a strong no, but just to practice. It's like a muscle. Setting boundaries is like a muscle. You just have to train it. So the thing is, if you train it around people who are like, well, Sophie always says yes, why is she saying no all of a sudden? What's wrong with you? That's going to make it much harder for you. To do it in a new environment, new people, they'll be like, oh, okay, Sophia's clear. No, that's not okay with her. Cool. And that will give you positive feedback around, it's okay to say no. It's okay to take time. It's okay to, you know.
Okay.
So I think, you know, this new environment is a perfect opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. And then try to use it.
Yeah. Try, you know, practice at home in front of the mirror. No is such a hard thing for so many of us. Yeah. Or maybe before it's a no, practice, can you give me a moment to think about that? Don't let yourself be put under pressure. Okay to say, let me think about that. Can I get back to you in an hour? Can I get back to you tomorrow? Can I get back to you next week? Depending on the situation. You know, that's starting with the little light dumbbells. You know, before you go into that nose. Yeah, but it's
okay.
It training and practice and awareness, and you may find yourself saying yes and then going, oh, again. It's just
okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Super. All right. So we're coming up to 11:30. Those of you who haven't spoken, Diana, Marco, and Francis, do the three of you have anything you really would like to bring for this session?
No, not from my side, but I would like to say the first link in the chat. This is a wrong one. I don't know this book. It's the second one. And it's a really nice book from the grandson of Gandhi. And in German, so the English translation of the German title of the book is Anger is Present. And it's really, really nice because anger could move mountains.
Yeah.
In English hört sich das irgendwie different. Yeah. Okay.
It's a motor.
Yeah, it's a motor.
Yeah.
It's a really, really nice book about the story and the living with Gandhi.
Okay, great, thank you. Nice share. So
I think it should be in school.
Yeah, there's so many books.
Children has to read this book, every child.
Okay, well, we can maybe we'll take that as a nourishing read for ourselves over the next week or two. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
And it's also possible to get in on Kindle or ebook or
Audiobooks. Audiobook. Maybe it's something for you, Lynn, in the evenings.
yeah. I also listen the audiobook.
Yeah. It's halfway between a Netflix and a book. Yeah. Okay, that's the name of the book that I was recommending, Braiding Sweetgrass. Cool. Francis, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay.
Now I am in silence. So.
Okay, you can't share this week.
No, I prefer to be in silence today. Thanks.
All right, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Okay, so in that case, we will round it up. So well done. It's a big topic. Yeah. And so what we've done today is kind of open the door. So however today touched you, whether it's 1 minute a day of this and build up, or whether it's really getting clear on what your action is. So if that's to go for a run for Tessa and go for a sleep for Lynn, those are both perfect. Okay, so what is your action? Yeah, what is your discipline? What do you need to really get clear on and trigger habit reward? How do you build it in consistently so that it sticks? And through sticking, it has an impact. One time, not going to do it, I'm afraid. I wish I could just go, we're just going to do this for 3 minutes and everything's going to be fixed forever and ever. Amen. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. But as Sophia said, I'm empowered. Yeah. So you see the way forward that you want to go. You're now getting clear what needs to be cleared, what needs to be purified. So you start to take the actions. Yeah. Amazing work today, everybody. Thank you. Have a beautiful, we'll know about tomorrow. I'm just starting, it's just a 4-week free journey to introduce people to the concept of some of the stuff we do here. So if any of you want to join tomorrow evening, 5 p.m. European time, be lovely to have you there. I'm just going to start to introduce the concepts of the doshic clock and Agni and Ama and all of this stuff. You're already working through. It'd be nice maybe if you could be there and share a little bit, if any of you have time. And you might find it, if any of you are working on earlier lighter dinners, maybe it's another container for 1 week. I'm going to really commit to my hot pot, my one pot, my whatever pot it is, yeah, or whatever habit. So it's a 1 week container, and then we move on to another. Then we do the early to bed. So you're all very welcome. Sundays, 5 p.m.
Okay. Thank you, Sarah.
And it's the usual link, so you don't have to necessarily sign up. But if you do sign up, I think you've all received the emails this week. If you do sign up, then you receive the supportive emails for the journey as well. Okay, so that's up to you. How many times a week can you handle hearing from me? All right. You can all unmute and say goodbye. Happy weekend. Lovely to see you all.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Good correct.
Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.